Good morning. Thanks for attending the session today. It's been really pleasure to have this privilege to talk to you in person and online as well. So just to start, one statement that I would like to say that most of the people in this world, they all are sleeping. They never get wake up. Never. You may ask what kind of statement you are making in the start of this session, but that's the reality. What do you consider waking stage actually is not the waking stage? Imagine a normal human and see the way he or she lives his life. They get birth, they get education, they go to college, they get into worldly affairs, they try to prove themselves in this world, they get married, they try to have a secure job, they want to have babies, and then the life again begins. That their babies start doing the same thing that their parents done, and then they get married, and that the first generation now is keeping the babies of the babies, and one day they die. Is this is waking stage? It is just the conditioned life that all the people they live and go through. The condition that this world teaches us that you are a boy, you are a girl, this is right, this is wrong, and these are the things that you need to do. Become doctor, engineer, a businessman, have married life, make assets, go for vacations, enjoy this life. And everyone is doing the same. It doesn't matter whether the person is from India or the person is from United States. There was a day when someone told me that what's wrong in this way? It's fine. If you're making money, if you're living a successful life, then what is wrong in it? Do you think that this has to be looked after, and do you think that there is nothing as in wrong in it, or maybe this question itself is wrong, or my statement is wrong? Yes. No, believe me, what is success? And for a human being, getting grades in education and getting good job, getting a blind money like 10 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 80 lakhs, 2 crores, 5 crores, is that is the success? I was recently attending one of the seminar, and they said that Adani is now going for this acquisition or this merger of worth rupees this many crores. So I was just thinking that what after that, what would happen even if extreme kind of money is acquired, then what? I'll give you a story. Have you heard about Maharaja Janak? Have you heard about Ramayan? So Maharaja Janak, he is considered as one of the finest enlightened person on our earth. I would say finest. He was the king, a very highly decorated king. He never left his kingdom, but while living, while taking care of his kingdom, he was a sannyasi. These days what happened? The sannyasi, they take the vows that they're not going to get married, they are not going to take money, and they would just live for the sake of life, and they would do the internal journey, and they will preach others. It's good that these guys are doing so. But what did Janakji did? Janakji was a king. He never went into sannyas by declining the worldly things, but he stayed in that kingdom, and that actually helped him. The sannyasi, when he does so, he takes the vows and he go to a mandir and then he takes on the orange clothing. Though he is preaching, though he does preach, but underline, he begs. He look forward for the help of the people to get money for his own survival. And once he has a survival, because for some reasons, if he can have the disciples, the wealthy disciples, then he can go places. So at the end, if the preaching was supposed to be done, then shouldn't that money be earned in this life and then be given back to the people? Like a moksha, we are not so-called orange bhagwa sannyasis. We do have our jobs. We work very hard in our jobs. We earn money and then we conduct these sessions. Do we take any money from you? From last several years you have been here. Have you ever? Same way, Raja Janak, he used to, he was a king. He had a very, very big kingdom. And internally he was sannyasi. He never left the kingdom, but with the kingdom, with the money, he he was helping people in his kingdom. All the normal human beings, they were living very nicely and they were taught very nicely. So one day, Raja Janak was sleeping and forget, you forgot, we started that most of the humans are sleeping, they never wake up. So Raja Janakji was sleeping and he was having a dream in his sleep. And the dream was that some other emperor attacked his kingdom and somehow he lost that war and he has been asked to leave his kingdom. All his queens and the money and everything has been taken away from him, and the other emperor tells him to go away, otherwise, he would be dead. And then this guy, Raja Janak, in his dream, he keeps on going away from his own dear kingdom. He was hungry, he was thirsty, and after a long walk, he reaches a place where some ceremony is happening, and somehow he gets a plate of food and an urge of high hunger. He was just trying to eat the first core of the food, and one eagle just attacks and grabs the plate and goes away. And he's just without the phone and he says, Trahi, Trahi. My teacher told me to say this, Trahi, Trahi. And suddenly he wakes up. And when he wakes up, now he is, in his luxurious bedroom and everything is fine. His queens are there, and the queens are also looking at him, and asking, "Hey, what happened?" And now this king is just thinking whether this is the truth or that was the truth. क्या ये सच या वो सच? And he was just, confused. And his situation was such that he lost his interest in everything. He was just thinking, क्या ये सच? क्या वो सच? Whether this is the truth or that was the truth. So the queens were very much worried and they asked the Raj Pandit, the highest teacher in the kingdom. They called him and they asked him to look after the king, Janak. And the Raj Pandit came and he asked Rajan, क्या हुआ? And Janakji, Maharaj Janak, he just said, whether this is the truth or that was the truth. And Raj Pandit smiles and says, हिंदी में थोड़ा अच्छा लगेगा, ना वो सच ना ये सच, तू ही सच. Do you understand? Not that was the truth here. This is the truth. You yourself, your true self is the truth. Did you get what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to create the first statement that most of the humans they never get out of the sleep. And as per Ramakrishna Mission, Ashram, Advait Vedanta, there are four stages of self. One is the grossest, grossest materialistic stage. That is called that is known as the lowest stage of awakening. That is the awakening stage in this materialistic world. Jagrat avastha is dunya mein. That is the lowest stage of consciousness. Why? You may say, what kind of stupid statement it is. Just because of this awakening status, we create money, the world is going round. Yeah, the world is going round, you're making money. Is it? Is it that you are making this world go round and you are making the money? It's just like someone in a roller coaster and saying, "Oh, I am just driving this roller coaster." Yeah, it is happening. Of course, it is happening. So we'll touch upon this point, but that is the awakening stage is the lowest stage of consciousness. But there are very high boons to this lowest stage also. We'll talk about it. The other stage is the dreaming stage, where our ego goes down little slow and we have a lesser control. See, in the awakening stage, so-called awakening stage, we tend to think that we have a high control. I control my wife, I control my employee, I control my country, I control the thoughts of everyone. I control my money, I control my breath. So we feel that we are the controllers. That's an illusion. in the dream, see how beautiful it is that we give away that control to some extent. Have you ever seen that, oh, I had a dream and now I want to control my dream? Now, some crazy guys, they can do so, like me, but still, they don't have much of the control. Dream would come the way it's supposed to be. So, awakening is there when you feel that you are holding a hot glass of milk. You feel that heat in your sensations. When you fear in your dream, when you laugh in your dream, when you cry in your dream, everything happens there. So the experience is as equal as in the awakening stage, but the control is given out away mostly. That is the third stage. Then, when we go into the deep sleep, then even the that mind actually sleeps at that time. So even the wrong perception that I'm consuming some materialistic things in a subtle way, that also goes away. That's a deep sleep. And when we are in deep sleep, that is the second level of consciousness. But the problem here is any one of you were really awake while you were in deep sleep. No. Most of us, most of the people, they don't, they're not awake types awake in their deep sleep. And that is the second level of consciousness, awakeness stage. And the first is the Turiya, where you become one with God. And we are, in fact, part and parcel of God as per Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, he tells Arjuna that all the living and the non-living things are part and parcel of me, Krishna, Arjuna. For some reason, the living entity took this adventure of life and comes into this 84 lakh, 84 lakhs different yonis, births, starting from all kind of non-livings and then livings, all kind of creatures, comes to a human form, and there are 4 lakhs different yonis. I was talking to someone and I was telling that someone that, see, the humans, they always try to survive. They just, try to get money, and acquire more thing. And that guy was saying that the basic nature of the humans. And I was just thinking how stereotyped we are. That basic nature of the human is in the lowest form of the human. I said 4 lakh different human categories. So when there is a lowest form of a human, which is, for an example, someone who is not at all educated, who's not at all beautiful, not at all wealthy, not at all wise, and doing all the tamasic thing, that's the lowest form of the humans. And gradually they grow, they become beautiful, their thoughts are beautiful, they are comparatively well to do, etc., etc. Some some humans are very beautiful and they have very good luxuries around them. Like, you look at the Western world, they have everything, but they are very far away from spirituality. So that's again, one of the form of the human. So the finest humans are those are actually are aware about themselves. They are awakened and they get to the stage one, and just for your ease, that in their deep sleep still they are awake. My teacher used to say, वो कभी सोता नहीं है. आपको लगेगा वो सो रहा है लेकिन वो सो नहीं रहा होता. If we are part and parcel of God, God has to take a lot of things. The sleep is a human animal kind of thing. A polar bear would sleep 6 months, isn't it? So now, if I make this statement, when I say that people are not awakened, hardly now you understand that people are really not awakened. They don't reflect upon the simple thing that purpose of this life is not to sleep, eat, mate, and earn money, make businesses. No, these things are to be done. Of course, if we are in this life, you have to make money, you have to do the things. But like Raja Janakji, I remember when I was working with one of the company, they had a very good property near in the IT park, Panchkula, backside of the Nada Sahib. And where that was the time when I was practicing spirituality on myself, and I used to touch the walls, the beautiful walls, and I used to say, Aham Brahma Asmi, and I was just saying to my one of the colleague that I can look through it, and he used to say, Hari, you're crazy, And I used to talk to buildings, and and he the entire crew, there were I think 20 employees at that location working with me, though we had pan-India presence. So they used to think that I'm sort of Bevkoof. But that's not the craziness. It's not that I was crazy. I see the other way. I see people are crazy. They're so busy making money that they don't even reflect upon their true purpose. For an example, I give you money and I say that, okay, go to Mumbai and purchase the best clothes, and sorry, go to Gujarat and purchase the best diamonds and come back. And here is your 5 crores. And you go there and you just are jumping and humping there. You forget that you have 5 crores in your pocket or in your bank account. You just go there and you start making a own world of mud near the seashore, which would be gone any moment. And I may call you back because I'm the boss, and you still have the money. Same way, you have each one of us. I would not say the animals. I would also not say the lower kind of humans, out of the 4 lakhs yonis, I would say. But still, if someone is human, and if we are teaching, and if they're listening, if they can assimilate what we are trying to tell, they can. So, God gave us the consciousness, 5 crores, and told us, you have this internal awakening. You go and live in this Maya, get yourself wake up in the gross material world. That's the purpose of your life, and you have to come back. And humans, what they're doing, they're just wasting their time. They even don't think that they have to think like this. They think that attending such kind of sessions or doing all this thing is useless. If this is so useless, let me ask you, to all the humans out there, those who think that this is useless, let me ask you one question. You got this body. Look at you, you got this body. Did you buy it? Did you choose? Did you select that? Oh, I should have this kind of nose, this kind of color, this kind of family I would be in. I would be this much tall. I would have such kind of hairs. Did you ever thought about this? Why did you get this kind of body? Which location, which family, which part of the country, rich or poor family, what kind of siblings, what kind of parents, why you are in this body. Let's talk practically in your language. Everything we can purchase, na? You got this body, did you purchase this thing? And you would say, no, it just happened. Why? It's just charvaka, materialistic theory, gross non-enlightenment, I would say, gross idiotism that is this life on earth uh, is the result of the Big Bang, and somehow there is matter, and then somehow this evolved from monkey to donkey to now human life, and then somehow this consciousness came, and somehow I am here in this life, and my only purpose is to live happily, do a lot of maja, and then who knows, zindagi milegi na dobara. That's what people are doing, just juggling around with their senses, trying to squeeze out everything out of this life that this will not get. But let me ask you, that poor boy who is squeezing out, he can only squeeze out through because he has the senses, and he has the senses, he can sense through his body. Why he got the body? He must have done something good or something bad to get a good or a bad body. Why you look at if you're a beautiful person or a handsome or rich or in a good to do thing, good to do place. Look at the other people, those are not that beautiful, handsome, or they don't have that kind of good. You think about, special children. Look at the orphanages. So there is a discrimination. People are ugly, people are beautiful, people are rich, people are by birth, they get something. So uh, that is the purchase power of the something, This body, definitely, if I have got this body and I purchase it, I use the word purchase. That means that if I have this car, then one thing is there, I'm not the car, isn't it? I'm something different from the car. I'm human. Same way, if I got this body because of my karmas, then I'm not this body, I'm something else. Now you get it? Then that something is maybe, hypothetically, you may agree that, okay, that something is soul. Yeah, that is a philosophical thing, easy to sell. I can sell it. And you would also say, so, yeah, I am a soul and I am looking for a soulmate. Cheap. So if you're a soul and you have purchased this body through the big good karmas, then point comes, okay, got your weapon, so we have to do good karmas, and we have to do the good things, etc., etc. And believe me, 80% of people are doing the good karmas only. No one is killing. No, no, not all are killing many. Everyone is having a very simple life. They wake up, they excrete, then they eat, then they fleet, then they work in a fear and anxiety throughout the day. Employees are fearing because of the bosses, bosses are fearing because of the clients, clients are fearing for their businesses. And that vicious circle is there. And then at the evening, people come, again they eat, and then they sleep. That's what they're doing. And while doing this, someone is praying, or going to temples and doing some dan punya here and there, and then they feel that they're doing something good. Yeah, that's why, we have all kind of people around us. So people are doing good karmas, but that's not the ultimate reality. That is something which is, going back and forth, chewing the chewing gum, chewing the same thing. You look at yourself. Every day morning you have to eat, and you do every day you do it with the whole pleasure, chewing the same thing, doing the same thing. having sex again after a few days, then again you have sex, having drinks again after a few days you have drink, going to vacation after a few days. Same landscapes are there. I think no one is changing. It's the same sky, same water, doing the same thing. We're so clinged to all these materialistic things. And that's why when the body dies, Atma, that part of soul, again take a birth. So there was a story, in the ancient time, there was a Raja, a king was there. I forget his name, Raja Vichitya or someone. So he was 100 year and Yamraj, you know, the king of death, he came and he said, okay, let's go. Your time is over. And this Raja says, no, 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 I don't want to die. I really want to enjoy a little more. And even, I have not done any pious things. I even have not taken the name of the God. I have not done Harinam, Kirtan, etc. So please give me one more time and let me live for 100 more years. So the death king Yamaraj says, no, that's not that possible because once I'm out, I have to take one life. So either you or you have someone in place of yourself. And this king had 100 sons because he had many queens. So those sons were also, 75, 80, aged or younger. So there was a youngest was 18. So the king said, my dear son, who all or only one who would like to replace my death? And everyone said, no, dad, we really don't want to die at this stage. You don't want to die, then why we should like to die? But the youngest son, 18, he said, I want to die. I want to be replaced for your death. And Imran said, why you want to? He said that my father, he is 100 year. My siblings, they are so old, but still they want to enjoy. So that means that there would no ultimate satisfaction of this material body. So it's a learning. So what would I do if they are not satisfied after 100 years? How can I get the satisfaction? It's better let me go away from this material world. And Imraj took him. And Raja Vichitya lived for 100 more years. And Imraj came back. And after 100 years, he said, okay, now it's time. And then Raja said, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to take the name of Hari. I didn't do the awake thing. I was just awake in this life. I never thought that I should ever think about it. Please give me one more time. Take one of my more son. And that happened, that happened. The king of death took one other kid and then he lived. And this happened for 10 times. For 1,000 years, this guy, he lived. And this is what is happening with most of the humans. The only thing is that they're dying and then they're coming back. They're dying, then coming back. So it's important that we actually understand the need. We should continue, to live our life, but we should understand that the purpose of life is to the real awakening. Now, for uh, many, can I have water? You want water? So sorry. So this is a very beautiful balance that someone has to make. I have seen I have seen teachers, they would say they would they would actually use Bhagavad Gita in such a rascal way. They will misuse it. I've seen families going apart because these teachers, they teach Bhagavad Gita in a way. They say, okay, you take away from senses, just and do the tyag and leave everything. See, that was the truth at the time when it was spoken by Krishna. But that was 5,000 years back, where that was a Dwapar Yug. See, there is Satyug, Tritra Yug, Dwapar Yug, and now we are living in a Kal Yug. For an example, I tell you, okay, you go from Chandigarh to Delhi on Balgadi. Would you go? He would say, Hari, you are stupid. I would take a flight and I would rather like to reach in half an hour. So in this advanced mm, artificial intelligence time, we are not going to take Balgadi, that bullock cart. What I'm trying to say, that the essence of commute is the same thing, that one has to commute from Chandigarh to Delhi. Essence is same. That's why I need to commute. What Bhagavad Gita said, what Krishna, my beloved, said is my beloved. I don't have any doubt in telling and or sharing that uh, there are, five different kind of bhaktis. Uh, so one is devotional bhakti, which is like seva. The other is the sakha bhav, like a friend. The other is like parental bhakti, like Ma Yashoda did to Krishna, Vasudev ji did to Krishna. Then there is a bhakti which is of like, mm, servant. And the ultimate bhakti or the relation is conjugal love. Like, in your language, you may understand like lover. So uh, I love Krishna and Radha. Radha and Krishna is one for me, and I love Radha Krishna. So that's my relationship. I don't have any doubt in it, and I don't want to hide it also. And everyone is free to make any kind of relationship with the God. Anyhow, so we were talking that the essence, what Krishna, my beloved, told 5,000 years back, that commute has to be commute. Commute would be there. Same way when he said that uh, leave the senses and focus on me. Get away from materialistic life and focus upon me. Then these sannyasis, so-called sannyasis, said, okay, don't get married, don't do sex, and don't eat less. Just go to jungle or, just do those things. So they actually heard half part of what Krishna told. They didn't hear the entire thing. And it's not that I'm cooking anything here out of my sheer authority. You go and read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna clearly mentions 35 that leave all the attachment, do the detachment from this materialistic world and focus upon me, and then do all the karmas. Then do all the actions. Now, the stupid, what they say, don't desire, don't desire, don't desire. लड़की को देख के desire मत करो, ये को मत करो, पैसे की desire मत करो. Krishna says, desire would come. When Arjuna speaks to him that, oh, this is mind would have so much of struggle, and Krishna says that would be there. But then you stay detached. And then when he says you, he's not, that is the reason where I started today. That when you don't know, when you're sleeping, you don't know who you are. You would say, you, okay, you're talking to me, fine, I'm Vipin, I'm the Sharma, and okay, you want me to detach, okay, how to detach, I still need I need banana, I cannot be detached from banana. And you are bananas all life. So because you have so much identified yourself with this body and mind, that's the problem, that's where, before we go into Gita, that's why we have the session, that who you are. And that's why I said in the starting that most of the people, they live, they die throughout their life, they don't even wake up. When I say wake up, that means that they're not aware who they are really are. They only identify themselves with their body, with their mind, with their thoughts, their perceptions, their desires. That's it. It's just like, if I start identifying myself with car, the gear, the tires, the AC, and the sunroof, and I start feeling, oh, I am the car. I just forget that I am Hari or Vipin. Why I'm using Hari? Because it's the name given by Krishna to me, Hari, not Harry. I hate Harry. Hari. Hari is the name of Krishna. So Krishna said that detach, get yourself detached, and then do the actions. And then these girls, these ladies who go to, I would not name what they have done. Most of the day they would just do the, you know, chanting. I myself do chanting. I do minimum 16 round of chanting. I'm not saying that you should not do the chanting, but these ladies, what they do throughout the day do chanting, then throughout the day they do Sharvana, the lectures, and they cook, and they don't do anything else. They don't care about their husbands, they don't care about their relatives. They are dead people, like they will just do this thing. And if you ask them, they would say we have detached from all the senses, and we are just trying to clean ourselves and in the bhakti, and we'll go back, so that we can go back to Krishna. That they are the most idiotic person, I would have said. Ask me why. Krishna gave the essence of commute, that there is a communication. They had to commute from Chandigarh to Delhi. And the previous 5,000 years, it was through Vanprastha and etc. etc. This time, these days, oh sorry, bulk card. Now these days our we go through airplane. The essence remains the same. When Krishna told Arjuna that get detached and fight the war of Kurukshetra, did Arjuna did that was Krishna telling Arjuna, okay, just go sit and then do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is propagated by new time sant, which is fine, that was required. But that is not the original learning. See, for the correction of things, there has been very good teachers. They have taken the incarnation and they have done some corrections, like but that is just for the correction's sake. That was not the exact learning. Look at this thing that Krishna told Arjuna. Arjuna was instead, telling in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if you see, Arjuna was telling Krishna that you uh, basically you I don't want to fight, and I really don't want to fight, and let me go away. What is the use of killing? Let me just go take sannyas. And Krishna in the second chapter is telling Arjuna, no, you be detached, focus on me because you are my part and parcel, and then fight. He asked Arjuna to do his karma. Arjuna was Kshatriya. He was given a birth as a Kshatriya. You are given a birth, and wherever you are, you have to do your karmas. A wife she has a duty that to please her, to take care of her husband, to take care of her family, etc., etc. She cannot get away from the duty. I'm sorry, I'm reflecting back again and again, but this is what is happening. I've seen many parents, many children, many husbands. They are just tell us that we don't want to get into spirituality because look at this girl, this lady. She has left everything. And on top of it, they are so discriminating in their leaving things. They would not leave Chandigarh. They would not leave luxury cars. They would not leave the luxury kitchen. They would only leave the duties which are otherwise a sort of fight. Maintaining, sustaining husband itself is a fight. Keeping him happy, keeping a sasuma happy is a fight. So what they can easily leave, they could leave. Otherwise, they would just go and shop at all the things. They would have the best things. AC के बिना चलती नहीं है ये ladies. But they have left their families. So Arjuna never leave the fight. He actually conquered. He actually killed. He was very brutal. And tell me one thing, throughout life, they actually did their own. They took care of the duties as per the time, and then they just you know kept away. Tell me, where was the time when Krishna actually himself he went to sannyas and left this materialistic world? He was a happening guy. Where he was not, he has so many queens. 16,800. Eight queens were there, I guess, my mathematics is here there. He has so many kids. He had such a good Dwarka. He actually had that such a beautiful city, his own city. We people, we just try to have one house of maybe ek canal, do canal, and we feel that we are done. He has the entire big city, and in all the Upanishad and everywhere, his name is there. He was happening guy. So the idea here is first that you should be awakened. You should know yourself. People should be aware. Uh, for uh, myself would tell you that there was a time when I was just preaching Bhagavad Gita and uh, Advait Vedanta, and I got stuck that okay, this awareness, my consciousness is the Atman. And for many years I was just stuck, that this consciousness is the thing which is Atman. But then I was just looking, sometimes I get upset and sometimes I get carried away. If I'm self-realized, then, you know, why I should, then my teacher, I went back to my teacher and he said, see, you have realized the second, the, the third stage of awakening. You have realized fourth, of course, that while awakened, you are awakened now. You have done that. And in the third stage, that is the dream state, also you keep awake. And that's by practical example. I used to tell people that even the night, if I have to take a dream, I would decide this is a dream, where I would go, how I'll do. And when I wake up in the dream, then I again continue the dream. So I was awake. That's why I could do that. But I was stuck there. And then he told me that this Chaitanya, the consciousness, the self-realization, I should not use the word self-realization. I should say the realization of awakening, the Chaitanya, fourth stage, the realization of being aware, the being pure conscious, being not pure conscious, being conscious is the third stage. So the that awareness of consciousness is the third stage. Then there is the awareness of Atman. Yeah, Atma itself reveals that is beyond awareness. आप कहेंगे, you would say, okay, what is that? That's what is the enlightenment. It's not a Tom, Dick, and Harry story that okay, fine, uh, and that's where, as per me, the Advait Vedanta could not help me beyond that. It was okay, you have realized that you have pure consciousness, and that's it. Beyond that is the Atman, and the ultimate is the consciousness of Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. Atma, the soul, the Brahman. Paramatma, the supreme awareness, Krishna, Radha. So that consciousness is good, if someone is aware, that is again a good, it's very good kind of jnana. Hardly I don't get any people who would be that much spiritual. Even when I speak, to different people, those are doing yoga, etc., but they are stuck at one or the other place in their life. Their desires, their deep-rooted desires are there. They take their own time to get out of it. It's just like that, oh, in my entire life everything was fine in my car, but bonnet नहीं खुलता था उसका. मेरा मेरी मेरी कार का bonnet कभी नहीं खुला. I'm so sad. That's one desire I have, and I believe that someday my bonnet would open. What kind of desire is that, So again, if I have to summarize it, it's one that we have to get know where. Two, that when we are following this Krishna Bhakti or Bhagavad Gita, we should not go in that totally that we detachment and we have left everything. No, go fight, have a good thing, make money, everything, do those things. But detachment, with the detachment, but with the full courtesy. See, you are here as an actor. Acting में कमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. There should not be any sacrifice in your acting skills. If Shah Rukh Khan and Devdas start feeling, oh, I am detached from this Devdas role, and look at his the dialogue delivery at the end when he says, उसने कहा ये छोड़ दो, उसने कहा वो छोड़ दो, और कभी कहेंगे कि तुम दुनिया छोड़ दो. Look at his face expressions. He knows that he is Shah Rukh Khan, but he was acting. So that's why you also, the way Arjuna did, he knew that he doesn't want to fight, but he still fought and he was the best. He was fighting against the best and he killed everyone. So go out. That's what Krishna's teachings are. See, there are people, there are saints, they came in between, and in those very difficult time when, like, say, when Buddha came, he said, during that time, it was 3,000 years after when Krishna disappeared. By then, a set of people in community they made that everything is soul, and there are so many different sacrifices of cows and animals and even the humans. They would do the bali things. And then when Buddha came and he declined everything about the soul, so that was a correction needed. And that was not that because the humanity went into such a dark stage of life that he has to come, and he said, and people followed him that okay, we don't want to go into this understanding. Then Shankaracharya came and he said that, in 800 after Buddha, and he said that, oh, everything is illusion. That was also required. That is, again, if you see, Krishna never said everything is illusion. It's hardcore material thing. But then it was his teaching that was required for that time. Chaitanya Prabhu came and he taught that was good, what he was teaching. Mahaprabhu came, Prabhupada went to United States in 70s or 67, 65, whenever. Uh, Look at that who were his followers. All the hippies, the druggists were his followers. They wanted to go have that high. Most of, I should not say all, but most of them were hippies. And that created the wave, and that was required at that time. And he said, okay, don't look into these things and just do in a separate way. And that is fine. But what I'm trying to say, it's been 50 years now. Now the time is different. I love Prabhupada ji. I love Krishna, and I do follow Prabhupada ji. But I, uh, to me, I am detached. At the same time, I want to act in this role with my fullest. I want to keep doing the role of a husband, a role of a head HR, a role of a father, a role of a lover. I don't have any, but still, to the materialistic world, if I had to be, a role of a biker, a role of a preacher. I want to do all this. I just don't want to be Lakir ka Fakir. कि मैं तो अब भी बुल्लक कार्ट में जाऊंगा because मेरे टीचर ने ऐसे कहा था. So that's again, that you have to understand the essence of the teachings, not the presence of the teaching. कि मैंने तो वो ले लिया जैसे uh, all these things. So I hope you must have understood. So let's do the final summary, and there's gonna be homework for you guys and for the online guys also. That one, have the awakening, get to know that you should know, and it's not that Bhagavad Gita or whatever uh, religion that you believe in. Look deep into your religion. All the good saints, they have done wonderful, fantastic job. Beat anyone. I would not take the name because then it becomes issue that why I haven't taken the name of the other religion. I may miss out. I'm saying that wherever, whatever religion you have, just follow that, and yeah, everything is wonderful. Just don't be stereotype. Be very pragmatic and real in your approach, and reflect upon it that this life is not to be animals. Just eat, sleep, mate, and fear, and have the anxiety, and then die. No, no. So be t- and try to. What I'm trying to say is that's the have the self-realization, not only the awareness realization, Atman realization, but to the Paramatma realization. That is one thing. And what why it is because if you will not do it again because of our karmas, you again will get a death, again birth, and then death. Right. So you will be in this vicious cycle. So and as per the Vedas, this the earth is just 20-25% of the habitant of the Atman. That's 75 is so you have to grow. You have to go. It's just like I'm trying to say you have to leave this world for higher planets or higher things. It may look very funny to you, but uh, in this session, I may not be able to explain it to you, just giving you a little bit of hints and so that you should be out of this. And the other thing is that enjoy, show that things that you are part and parcel of God and live your life with fullest, with joy. Be a happening person and and come above the senses. So, what is the purpose? Maybe, I tried to explain it in this session, but may not be able to make that very clear. So that's why we run Moksha Tattva now. Earlier it was Amoksha, now made it Moksha Tattva because I myself had a learning, I'm not the awareness, I'm beyond awareness. So, and then it's not only knowing, it's feeling, it's actually in there. So that's why I made the name Moksha Tattva. So you are all welcome to, contact me and join our courses and have a wonderful life ahead. So we'll just chant one time more. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Ram.